Hi guys, and welcome back to Scribe Gaming. I'm your man Scribe, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Okay, so there I was playing a bit of Lightside GOTB and getting absolutely destroyed by droidicas left and right and ruining my 4 out of 4. When I had a message come through on my Discord channel saying that Beskar Mando's kit has been dropped, and I think it's about time we take a look. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so you might notice today that I actually have not one, but 2 cameras. And that's because I am joined today by none other than Infinem. Infinem, you want to say hi, mate?
Hey, Scribe. Thank you so much for having me here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
A great day, and hope you're wrecking your Lightside TV and pulling the 4 out of 4s that Scribe can't do. Gotta fill in those waves.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm not salty at all about droidicas. Not at all. GG decided to completely destroy. Yeah, so, well, I was flying through Lightside GOTB, got to the fourth and final wave with my Rebels team, and GG decided to completely decimate the entire team without me taking a turn. I was very upset. But hey, neither here nor there. All right, so I've been pretty hyped to see what this Mando kit is all about. I have had a brief look at it, and it does seem incredibly interesting. I don't know if you've had the chance to look through as well, Infinem?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
So we're prepared for this.
Yes, well prepared, and that's how we want to be in all things in life. All right, so taking a look here, Lightside Attacker, Leader, and Scoundrel. So comes as a bit of a surprise, right? No Bounty Hunter tag whatsoever.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised too, because I thought that maybe Mandalorian would add in that critical chance up or critical damage up to make that contract on the OG Mando work better, but we don't have a bounty hunter tag, so that's not a theory craft we're going to have with Grief as well. Yeah,
exactly. It does kind of decrease the viability that he has in a lot of teams, but hey, Scoundrels need love. I'm sure Clash DOE is going to be super happy. So, yeah.
For sure.
So the synergy suggestions here, IG-11, I think most people were kind of assuming that IG-11 and Queel were going to synergize quite well with this new Mando. But
although
Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Nor is GK.
GK for once is not a synergy character for a new kit. That's shocking to me. But hey, this is 2020. Shocking things have been happening all the time. So Enfys Nest and L3. It's kind of interesting synergy suggestions here. Sort of more of the old guard apart from IG-11 that are sort of coming through here.
Yeah, the typical Scoundrels that you'd go to, L3, that has been used with Rey a lot, Enfys Nest, Solos, Han Solo, Chewbacca used for SLKR counters, great by themselves.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
GL Rey on that 3v3 team that absolutely wrecked nerds. So.
Yeah. No, Han Solo and Chewbacca, in fact, they're both very, very useful, sort of just utility characters that can plug into a lot of counters, which I really like. Okay, so let's take a look here. Basic Deft Strike. I found it really interesting, actually, that his basic ability is for him to close the distance and attack with a knife, but okay, that's fair enough. So deal physical damage to the target enemy and inflict damage over time for 3 turns, which isn't bad. And if they were already debuffed, deal damage again. Now that's quite interesting. I guess that the dots for me is kind of a sort of debuff. I'm not that fussed by damage over times, but the attacking again is quite good. And seems as though he's going to have those dots, I suppose it will sort of benefit him in being able to do double damage, which is okay. I don't know if you've got any thoughts about synergy.
I'm interested about one thing in here about the dots, which is IG-11, who also applies dots with the Zeta on his unique. I'm kind of curious on how much dots this stacks up to be an actual relevant thing.
Yeah, potentially, and I don't know. Maybe in the new Rancor raid, we've seen Jawas inflict quite serious damage with their grenades. Maybe we can get a dot stacking team to work, but I don't know. We'd have to wait and see, really.
It would make perfect sense for Mando to be good in that new raid, which is they just launched as well.
Yeah, exactly. They've got to have a selling point for him, right? So this second ability here, I was really hoping we would get to see this. You can already see the whistling bird sort of coming out of his wrist rockets there, which is pretty sick. So special one is called Disciplined Setup. It's got a cooldown of 4. So Beskar Mando gains 1 stack of whistling birds for each enemy. A max of 20 stacks, and he may only use Swift Takedown, which is another special ability he gets later, the next time he uses an ability. Until the Mandalorian uses Swift Takedown, he can't assist or counterattack, which is quite interesting. He ignores stealth and taunt, which is completely unique. Well, ignoring stealth is a completely unique new mechanic for a character, and he gains 1 stack of Whistling Birds whenever an enemy takes damage. So it's going to be quite possible to build up these stacks of Whistling Birds fairly quickly, by the sounds of things. I do really like that we finally got a character that can just flat out ignore stealth now. I think that's really cool. So if they're
Also,
hiding anybody...
if may I add, one of the things that I just noticed, whenever an enemy takes damage, if for example OG Kylo Ren, when he gets inflicted with the dots, he resets his cooldowns, right? Because it's different times happening damage. So our dots that we get from our basic with that are going on are more times that are going to inflict that stacks over there on.
Very, very true, actually. Very true. Makes you wonder if he's got any synergy under a Vader lead. Stacking lots and lots of dots, just getting mass stacks of Whistling Birds. Probably has raid viability, potentially. Yeah, new GL counter. Oh my god, here we go. Yeah, Vader counters more GLs now. Amazing. Okay, Whistling Birds last until Swift Takedown is used or until Mando is defeated. So you can basically choose when to unleash these max stacks of 20, and they deal true damage to target enemy, and for each stack when using... They deal true damage to target enemy. So you target who it's going to hit, by the looks of things, for each stack when using Swift Takedown. Okay, fine. That one's interesting. I'm very much looking forward to see how that's going to work. Now, this one came as a surprise to me. I don't know about you, Infinum, but Wonder of the Force, actually getting in Baby Yoda, the child, is actually going to make a guest appearance in his little floating egg. And this ability sounds really sick, actually. Like, I really
very
like
interesting an ability.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've ever had a ability that equalizes protection before.
No, I think only equalizing health, like Barris, maybe as well Hermit Yoda, but protection, no.
Yeah, well, I mean, this has a lot of sort of similarity to Hoda's AoE heal, the one that does equalize health and adds 20%, because it's basically the same thing, but for protection. It equalizes their protection, and then all the scoundrels gain or recover 20% of their protection. But there's also a bit of TM
full
in
protection heal, so amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing that's actually really interesting about this and really ups the the viability of this move is the fact that both Beskar Mando and a targeted Scoundrel ally will gain damage immunity for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented, and gives tenacity up for 2 turns. Now, the ability does start on a cooldown, but being able to make 2 of your characters, essentially, invulnerable to damage for a turn, I think is an incredibly powerful ability.
Definitely.
And I think that's going to be incredibly frustrating. So we go on to Special 3 here, and this is the one that actually synergizes with the previous special that we looked at with Discipline Setup. This is where we actually release the Whistling Birds and everything, isn't it? So let's see. The final text states that you inflict healing immunity for 2 turns on all enemies. Mass heal immunity is pretty damn sick, right? And you deal physical damage to them and lose 1 stack of Whistling Birds for each enemy damaged this way. So if there's 5 enemies on the field, you'll lose 5 Whistling Birds, I guess. Deal true damage to the target enemy for each stack of Whistling Birds. So if you've got 20, the target enemy will take 20? Is that right?
Imagine,
yeah, and then everybody else will take physical damage because it does an AoE with physical damage, AoE heal immunity with the physical damage, but the target enemy will take up to 20 stacks of Whistling Birds, which sounds like it's going to hit pretty damn hard.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah. If the target enemy is defeated by this ability, remaining Whistling Birds will damage the weakest remaining enemy. So there's no way to overkill with this ability as well, which is also really good. Because if you think of it in the same vein as Padme with courage stacks, where you can, once you use your 5 stacks of courage on an attack, that does get wasted afterwards. So this will then split that damage against the remaining weakest enemy. And I'm sure if it probably kills multiple enemies, it probably just goes down the chain of weaker to weaker enemies,
it makes
right?
a chain of, it looks like that.
So that's pretty sick.
And then this attack can't be countered or evaded, and enemies defeated by this ability can't be revived, so...
Yeah, it's an incredibly powerful ability, right? You've got the heal immunity, it attacks AoE, it does lots of stacks of damage, can't be evaded or countered, and you can't be revived. That's super powerful.
Sold.
I'm sold on that one. I'm actually surprised that Swift Takedown is not a Zeta. Was the discipline setup. No, the discipline setup wasn't a Zeta either. So neither of those abilities
the only
are Zetas.
Zetas are on leads and uniques, which we're going to go into right now.
Yeah, do you want to take the lead with the lead, as it were?
So for each Scoundrel ally at the start of the battle, Scoundrel allies are going to gain 5% max health, protection, and offense. So the more Scoundrel allies, the better. Doesn't mean that you can plug in a certain galactic legend into the mix there. And whenever an enemy takes damage, Scoundrel allies gain 2% turn meter. So if we look at all of those dots going on, all of those little bits of damage going into it, all of those Scoundrels getting turn meter, they're going to make their own train of TM, I'd imagine.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I can see this synergizing really well with Canderous Ordo, actually, because he already gains TM on his basic, which can triple tap if the enemy has got protection. So that's going to be triple tapping, adding dots, adding turn meter to himself, as well as all allies. So that's a pretty good lead, I think, you know?
It's very interesting.
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious what's going to be the Zeta. It's probably turn meter, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it could be the turn meter, or it could be that, you know, it goes from 2.5% max health to 5%. I don't know. Maybe it's the stat manipulation. I'm not sure. But maybe I imagine the turn meter gain is probably the one that is the Zeta aspect of it.
It's the one that really matters on this lead.
Yeah, for sure. So do you want to go in with the next Zeta then?
Let's go ahead. So the Mandalorian is immune to ability block, which means, well,
Nice.
You've got all of your abilities whenever you want to use them, and extra potency and tenacity. So if you were worried about landing those dots or landing those heal immunities, looks like you can still land them even if you don't mod too hard for potency. And the first time each Scoundrel allies falls below 75% health, Mandalorian dispels all debuffs on himself, gains 1 stack of Whistling Birds, and takes a bonus turn. And the cooldown of the Wonder of the Force, so the Wonder of the Force, the ability that does the damage immunity, that removes turn meter, equalizes protection, is reset. So if your team is dying a little bit, Manda will come in there, heal up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
get some extra stacks of Whistling Birds.
This protective intuition ability sounds incredibly powerful, especially when I first read it and I thought, okay, Mando takes a bonus turn. Bonus turns are always great. It resets the cooldown of the protection equalization with the damage immunity, also really powerful, right? But the part that gets me actually is that the threshold to trigger this is actually incredibly high. 75% health, that's going to be a quick and easy one to trigger. And that can be a bit of a double-edged sword. One, in so much as it'll trigger really soon, so maybe you don't actually want it to go that quick. But the other side of it is AoEs will only trigger it once, right?
Yes.
So if you get hit by a big AoE and you take everybody below 60% health with a big hit, it's quite possible, it can happen, then you're only going to benefit from this once, which is a bit of a shame, because other ones like this are like 25% health or 50% health, like with JKA's ability.
Yeah.
So I still think it's a very strong ability, but it's just a shame that the threshold there is quite high, I feel. The other side of it is, of course, if they are doing a lot of single target damage and the damage isn't being focused on one character, which can happen with AI, then it will benefit you a lot because you'll take bonus turn after bonus turn after bonus turn, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think on the whole, this kit sounds pretty solid. I think personally, for me, I really want to see his base stats, particularly offense and speed.
Yes, offense. I think this character needs to be modded completely for offense. Probably protection a little bit as well, because if you have a higher protection pool, the 75% health threshold might not look as bad either.
Yeah, well, I definitely think
you're
that
recovering protection, then that's probably the way to mod there too.
Yeah. The thing that gets me here is I think this IG-11, I've seen how dummy thick this boy can get. And having him recovering protection alongside Queel and the likes of that, with this wondrous, what is it called? Wonder of the Force, sorry, is going to make him an incredibly hard character to chew through. So I definitely want to see how this guy's going to operate. For certain, if this guy's got like decent base speed and a really high offense stat, because that's what's going to feed through to the true damage, I think we could have a really strong contender on our hands. I'm interested to see what sort of theory crafts we can come up with this when it gets released. Hopefully we'll get some footage pretty soon after release. Any thoughts from you? Any theory craft ideas? Who do you think you're going to throw him in with?
Well, I have a theory craft idea. If we do this with just 2 characters, IG-11 and Mando, we can have 2 Baby Yodas too.
That's twice as many Baby Yodas as normal.
Oh man.
Amazing. Yeah, okay, cool. I think Han Solo and Chewbacca would probably be quite useful. Like, they already do mad damage themselves, but there's a lot of assists, attacks out of turn that's going to feed additional turn meter, just the same way as they do in the CLS comp. Unfortunately, the TM gain here isn't quite as much as under a CLS team, but it's still going to be incredibly powerful.
Also, guard on Mandalorian. He already has basically that immunity to ability block. Now can't be stunned nor critically hit, so he stays alive longer, putting up the damage. Looks good too. Soquil and IG-11 under his lead also look great. Kind of curious to see if we can also try Cara Dune under the Mandalorian lead, although Cara Dune looks like she has a pretty good place with Mon Mothma Rebel fighters, but
yeah, exactly.
There's always stuff to try out and see where they really belong.
And to be fair,
you know, addition of this character,
we did alongside get this kit reveal. We did get a road ahead that hints at another character that will be coming next. Well, it doesn't hint; it more throws it in your face. So I think that you and I are going to do a video on that in just a moment's time, covering the road ahead. So yeah, I want to thank you, Infinum, for joining me here today, guys. Watching at home,
appreciate being here.
Do make sure you check out the video that we're going to do on the road ahead. It's going to be on Infinum's channel. I will link it in the description down below. I'm hyped, man. This is going to be sick. This is going to be absolutely sick.
That character, very, very interested.
For sure,
Our
for
light
sure.
side what, Tambor?
Oh, you know it.
We're gonna get there.
We will get there. We will get there. Right, okay, I'm going to sign off now, guys, and we will see you in the next video. Peace out.
Peace out.
Quick shout out to my patrons. I appreciate each and every single one of you. And without your support, I wouldn't be doing this today. Thanks so much.